You're useless. You can't be relied on, my son-in-law shouted after I scorched the turkey on Thanksgiving. The guests froze in place, but I forced a smile, rose to my feet, and responded calmly. Then why do you turn to me every time you need cash? His reaction was so violent that I had to dial 911. Before we go further, please subscribe to the channel and drop in the comments what the time is in your location right now. The oven door flew open with a harsh metallic groan. Thick clouds of black smoke poured out, carrying the bitter stench of charred poultry and ruined dressing. I yanked the turkey free using shaky oven mitts. The skin had split and blackened into something unrecognizable. The smoke detector wailed piercingly above us. "What in the world is that?" Ethan's voice sliced through the kitchen from the entryway. Behind him, Amelia, Marcus, and Lydia stood rooted, their expressions morphing from festive excitement to sheer dismay. The demolished turkey rested on the counter like proof of a grave mishap. I dozed off, I murmured softly, placing the wrecked bird down. My phone battery gave out. I truly apologize. Apologize. Ethan advanced, his cheeks turning crimson. Sorry won't salvage Thanksgiving. Reginald, 28 folks are arriving in 2 hours. Amelia materialized next to him, her palm pressing against her lips. Dad. Oh goodness. The visitors. Some are pulling up already. I could rush to the market, I suggested. Perhaps they stock ready-made turkeys. Or we might head there together. Ethan's chuckle rang out sharp and sour. On Thanksgiving afternoon, every place is shuttered. You forgetful senior, Amelia inhaled sharply. Marcus moved ahead, his features hardening. Hold on a second. But Ethan pressed on. He seized the turkey by its scorched leg and flung it toward the garbage bin. It veered off course, splattering oil across the tiled floor. This is precisely what I'd anticipate from you. Nothing you handle ever succeeds. Ethan, enough. Amelia grasped his sleeve, yet he shrugged her away. No, Amelia. I'm through acting like this fellow is dependable. Behold this chaos. See the ruin he's wrought on our celebration. I remained utterly motionless, taking in every barb as if they were tangible strikes. Smoke kept streaming from the gaping oven, though no one stirred to shut it. Lydia pressed both hands over her mouth. Amelia's gaze brimmed with moisture. I said I'm sorry. I restated, my tone even amid the shame searing my core. I'll devise a fix. There must be a way. Fixes. Ethan whirled to confront me squarely. You believe tossing funds at issues resolves them all. Right, well, today your wallet won't rescue us. The kitchen hushed, save for the relentless blare of the alarm. Marcus at last stretched across and powered down the oven. Yet the harm lingered. The odor of defeat clung in the atmosphere like a verdict. That's sufficient, Amelia declared resolutely. But Ethan dismissed her. You know your flaw, Reginald. You vow what you can't fulfill. You pose as a champion. Yet when stakes are high, when folks depend on you, you nod off during duty. His barbs pierced a buried recollection. All those instances he dubbed me steadfast, trustworthy, his rescuer. Every frantic call when he craved funds, aid, someone to extract him from yet another monetary fiasco. The duplicity in his charges zapped me like a bolt. Dependable, the term escaped me softer than planned. Yet it held force. Care to discuss, dependable. Ethan, dependable. It reverberated in my thoughts as I fixed on Ethan's seething visage. Abruptly, I wasn't in that hazy kitchen any longer. I was transported to my modest condo in 2020, observing Ethan stride my parlor with damp eyes. I haven't a clue what to do next. Reginald, the lender demands $18,000 up front by Thursday, or we forfeit the home. Amelia remains unaware of the severity. The youngsters. His tone had fractured then. All his dignity stripped bare. I'd penned the check instantly. $18,000 from my humble nest egg. Delivered sans agreement. Sans repayment schedule. Merely faith among kin. I'll cherish this eternally, he'd vowed, clasping my palm. You're preserving our entire tomorrow. But he'd let it fade. 2 years on. He returned. It's Oliver's enrollment fees. He'd clarified over brew at the cafe by his workplace. $10,000 for the fall term. His grant evaporated. And without payment by Tuesday, he'll withdraw once more. I'd agreed. My grandson's schooling merited any forfeiture. The funds drew from my pension this round. But what use had an elder like me for extravagance's dad? You're our hero, Amelia had rung to express thanks. Ethan claims you're the kindest soul he encounters. The kindest soul he encountered. Precisely, until his vehicle faltered in 2023. The gearbox is wrecked, he'd stated via line, phoning from the repair bay. They demand $4,000 to mend it, and I require the ride for employment. I'm frantic here. Reginald. Frantic. That term cropped up often in Ethan's lexicon when he sought aid. I'd sped right to the garage and settled in bills, beholding relief wash his countenance like dawn after tempest. You invariably deliver, he'd declared, shaking my hand vigorously. I scarcely merit a father-in-law such as you. No, he scarcely did. The gravest came prior winter. Amelia's procedure, the one her coverage merely half met. $15,000 in health costs that Ethan couldn't shoulder atop his debts. I'd convened him at the clinic accounts desk, withdrawing from my thinning pension while Amelia healed above. He'd wept genuine, tears of appreciation and remorse. I'll reimburse you, he'd murmured. Every cent. I pledge on my offspring's heads. But the oaths resembled vapor, glimpsed briefly, then vanished. There were trifles, too. $250 for provisions when his wage lagged, $600 for the warmth invoice in January, $400 when the laundry unit perished. Merely till next check. He'd insist. You realize, I'm solid for it. Across 6 years, the trifles tallied beyond $42,000. I'd maintained a silent ledger in my head, not anticipating return, but to recall what kin signified to me, even if it signified far less to him. Now he loomed here, bellowing on dependability before our kin, behaving as if I'd solely disappointed, as though the turkey alone gauged my value. The reverie broke. I returned to the smoky kitchen, locking eyes with Ethan's indicting glare. Yes, I uttered, my timbre firmer now. Let's converse on dependable. 8 hours prior, the November dawn had gleamed ideally. Hoarfrost glittered on vehicle panes across the residential district as I motored via deserted lanes at 9 a.m. Festive trimmings dangled from each veranda, and fireplace timber aroma wafted via my ajar pane. The Caldwell residence appeared inviting externally. Cozy radiance beamed from kitchen panes, and I spied Amelia bustling within, immersed in setups. She greeted me at the entry with a brew cup and appreciative grin. Dad, you're marvelous for handling this. Your oversight of the turkey frees me to manage the rest, sans frenzy. The kitchen thrummed with methodical vigor. Baking trays aligned the surfaces, components grouped tidily, The 20-pound turkey lay defrosting in a bake tray, primed for flavoring and baking. "Good morning, Reginald." Ethan emerged in the portal. Neckwear slack, brew and grasp. His salutation was courteous yet chilly. "Trust all proceeds flawlessly this occasion." I overlooked the veiled prod. "It shall. When do visitors commence?" 5:30, Amelia replied, extracting spices from the cooler. "That affords ample duration. The turkey enters at 2:30. Bake for 3.5 hours at 350. She guided me via the routine meticulously. Spice blend massaged beneath the hide. Butter daubed atop. Tin foil canopy for initial 2 hours. I heeded intently, affirming each directive. "Program your device alert for precisely 30 minutes pre-flip," she emphasized. "Dad, this proves vital. Timing demands precision." I drew forth my device and programmed the alert. The charge displayed 20%. Yet that sufficed for several hours. "Turkey 30 minutes, I entered as note. Ethan dawdled in the kitchen portal, eyeing his gadget. "I've calls for labor to conduct. Then errands await. You'll manage solo here." "Correct." There it surfaced anew. That shade of skepticism masked as worry. I'd prepared festive repasts ere his birth. Yet Ethan perpetually unearthed means to query my prowess. "He'll thrive," Amelia affirmed stoutly. "Dad's crafted more Thanksgiving spreads than us united." She spoke true. 4 decades wed to my departed spouse had schooled me every festivity custom, every bake method for flawless fare. This turkey differed not. I ought to commence the filling groundwork. Amelia proceeded, fastening an apron at her waist. "Dad, you concentrate solely on the turkey. Naught else weighs as heavily as rendering that fowl impeccable." We labored in serene quietude. Her palms darted adeptly via produce slicing as I readied the turkey flavors. These instants evoked why kin endured. The muted collaboration, the joint aim, the awareness we forged something cherished jointly. Ethan resurfaced an hour hence, attired for outings. "Amelia, I'm departing. Require aught from village/return by 4. She summoned Sans, glancing from her blend basin. "I desire prep time ere visitors land." He pecked her cheek and ventured to the carport, vacating us to our tasks. The abode sensed more tranquil absent his fidgety aura. "He's tense over vocation," Amelia confided softly, as though divining my musings. "The firm enacts reductions. He's anxious for his role." I inclined my head, comprehending, yet not absolving his conduct. Fiscal strain justified no mistreatment of kin, particularly kin who'd borne his loads for annals. By midday, the turkey stood flavored and set. The oven warmed flawlessly to 350. My device alert programmed. Charge still adequate for the eve. "I must dash to the mart," Amelia stated, loosening her apron. Entirely overlooked the berry relish. "Can you fathom?" She imparted terminal directives on turkey schedule, then assembled her satchel and keys. "Precisely 30 minutes. Dad, program your chronometer and permit no diversion." "I shan't," I pledged, escorting her to the entry. "Linger not. All's mastered here." The dwelling quieted post her exit. Ethan lingered abroad on tasks, and I possessed the site solo. I ensconced in the plush parlor seat, device handy, sensing fulfillment from morn's toil. This embodied my essence, proving utilitarian, essential, integral to import. The turkey would gleam, kin would convene, and for one dusk, minor grudges and fiscal strains would vanish behind communal thanks and rite. I shut my lids briefly, hearkening the serene hush of the vacant abode. 3 o'clock dawned with midday sunbeams cascading via parlor casements. I inspected the oven ultimately. Turkey bronzing splendidly, heat steady at 350. The fowl appeared ideal, aureate hide commencing to crisp aptly. My device rested on the flank stand by my seat. 20% charge. Alert for 3:30. 30 minutes pending. Dad. Amelia materialized in kitchen portal, satchel over arm, procurement slate clutched. I'm set to depart for Berry Relish. You're utterly assured on schedule. Utterly. I arose and accompanied her to 4 entry. 30 minutes precise. I've this, dear. She halted at threshold, keys tinkling in palm. You realize, you're the finest sire a lass might seek. I scarce fathom sans your aid. Her terms warmed a profound recess in my torso. This justified enduring Ethan's sly jabs, persisting despite frostiness. Amelia esteemed me, required me, entrusted me with paramount kin rights. It's my delight, I voiced plainly. Journey secure. Ethan's auto drew into forecourt just as Amelia reversed forth. He signaled her via his foreglass, then alighted, bearing a minor tool shop sack. Tasks evidently concluded. How fares all within? He queried, nodding toward abode. Impeccable. Turkey adheres to timetable, he inclined. Yet I discerned a glint in his mien, a spark of skepticism, perhaps yearning for mishap. Well, we'll observe. Aye, indeed, we shall. I sustained my timbre balanced, declining the lure. Ethan entered, vacating me on 4 stoop. The civic lane extended still in dual directions. Most neighbors likely immersed in personal fest setups. A few autos traversed. Clans bound for their Thanksgivings. I re-entered my seat in parlor. 3:15 presently. 15 till alert chimed. Queuing turkey inspection. All advanced per blueprint. The house eased into tranquil midday calm. No broadcast din. No discourse. Merely remote oven drone and sporadic timber groan. This hush I prized. Deliberate. Not solitary. The stillness of a gent entrusted with weighty labor. Via kitchen portal, I viewed oven gleam constant. The turkey likely honed that flawless aureate tan by now, hide firming and crisping, while flesh stayed succulent beneath. 3.5 hours of vigilant baking would yield the focal fare all anticipated. My device indicated 3:20. 10 more minutes. Ethan roamed aloft, likely altering garb or conducting those labor summonses noted. I valued his dearth. These spans of duty sensed untainted sans his covert barbs or scarcely masked qualms on my skill. Midday gleam commenced to alter, acquiring that aureate hue heralding twilight. Anon the house would brim with kin tones, mirth, dish clatter and cutlery chime. Beatrice would laud the turkey. Marcus would seek refills. Lydia would assist child servings. But foremost, I must honor my pledge. 30 minutes exact, as Amelia ordained. The chronometer would toll. I'd gauge turkey advance, perchance baste anew, then reclaim my seat for terminal baking phase. Uncomplicated, forthright. The sort of chore I'd mastered adeptly for decades. 3:25, 5 more minutes. I reclined in plush seat, sensing gratification from duty aptly executed. Morn setups flowed seamless. Turkey baked flawlessly. And in scant hours the clan would encircle a board I'd aided manifest. This depicted dependability. This signified trustworthiness. 3:30 neared on chamber clock. Midday tapor slunk via parlor like mild coverlet. I'd risen at 6 a.m., traversing city, hoisting hefty turkey. Upright for hours amid morn setups, the plush seat cradled my weary frame ideally. My lids waited. Merely a swift repose. I assured self. Alert would rouse in 30 minutes. Ample to inspect turkey, enact requisites, then await finale. The house droned softly encircling me, oven toiling constant, cooler pulsing on-off, faint home sounds functioning aptly. My respiration deepened, device perched safely on flank stand. Chronometer set, all governed. 3:45 elapsed. 4 o'clock slipped noiseless. My device pane flickered once, twice, then dimmed wholly as charge expired. No chime, no quiver, naught. In kitchen. Turkey persisted baking. Aureate shifted to dusk brown. Dusk brown turned ebony at rims. Hide fractured and rent, spilling fluids that hissed and scorched on oven base. 4:30 brought initial smoke tendrils from oven slits. Aroma commenced faint, mildly overdone foul, trace of singed filling. By 4:45, ashen haze crammed kitchen, wafting to parlor where I slumbered, serenely, wholly oblivious. The turkey morphed from fest focal to calamity, hide ebony and flaking from flesh, filling to cinder. Smoke sentinel aught sounded, yet charge perished seasons past. Another trivial home upkeep neglected amid daily haste. 5 o'clock. The tart reek at last breached my torpid psyche, seeping into visions darkening and muddled. Aught awry, aught ablaze, my lids burst ajar. Haze, dense strangling haze cramming parlor. Reek struck like corporeal buffet, scorched foul, singed filling, the distinct tang of utter baked debacle. No, no, no. I lurched from seat, limbs rigid from awkward slumber pose. My device sprawled lifeless on flank stand. Pain ebony as swirling haze, realization zapped like flash. How long slumbered I? The kitchen resembled combat ground. Haze gushed from oven slits, thick to sting eyes and sear gullet. I snatched oven mitts and wrenched oven portal. Blaze scorched my countenance. Further haze surged in strangling billows. Within, what once graced as splendid 20-pound turkey now mimicked fire salvage. Ebony, scorched past ken, annihilated. How might I terms perished in gullet? I extracted ruined fowl from oven, depositing on range top with quaking palms. Metal bake tray scorched ebony below. Oil scorched and ebony on oven base. Reek overwhelmed. Tart. Keen. The haze sort lingering in cloth and fixtures for fortnights. Casements. I required casements ajar forthwith. Sprinting via house, I hurled ajar every casement reachable. Chill November zephyr rushed in. Yet hours needed to purge haze fully. Hours we lacked. I clutched my device, frantically jabbing power toggle, naught. Utterly spent. 5 o'clock. Amelia would rejoin soon. Visitors awaited at 5:30. In 30 minutes, abode would swarm with kin anticipating flawless Thanksgiving repast, and instead unearthed this haze, demolition, and charred vestiges of fest focal, turkey beyond redemption. No scraping or gravy masked this burn degree. We craved surrogate instantly. Perchance grocer held pre-baked fowls. Perchance I motored swift enough to unearth aught. Anything to redeem repast. It was Thanksgiving midday, yet assuredly someplace. Car portals thudded in forecourt. My spirit plunged. They re-entered prematurely. Via fore casement, I beheld Amelia alight her auto, berry relish sack in grasp, grin vivid with procurement triumph, trailing. Ethan emerged from his conveyance, pursued by Beatrice, Marcus, and Lydia, all converging 15 minutes early. Their buoyant tones drifted o'er lawn till fore veranda. Then stillness. Sense you that? Amelia's timbre wafted via portal. Aught's aflame. I stood rigid in hazy kitchen, oven mitts yet on palms, wrecked turkey chilling on range top like negligence testament. Nowhere concealed, no means to lessen occurrence. Fore portal creaked ajar. Dad, Amelia summoned, fret supplanting prior glee. What's that odor? I advanced to kitchen portal as they streamed within. Amelia spied my countenance foremost. The remorse. Ash flecks on my blouse, defeat in stance. Her orbs widened as she absorbed lingering haze. Oh, mercy, berry relish sack tumbled from digits. Dad, what transpired? Beatrice surfaced behind, brow furrowed with unease. Marcus drew Lydia rearward astride, both imbibing debacle with stunned means. Ethan shoved past all, beelining kitchen. I slumbered. I voiced plainly. My device expired. I'm profoundly remorseful. Ethan attained kitchen initial, pallor seizing as he eyed ebony turkey. Good Lord. Reginald, behold this, Beatrice chided instinctively, yet fervor absent. Amelia hasted to oven, peering at charred leavings of intended flawless fest focal. How long slumbered you? How long baked it? Unclear, an hour perchance longer. Terms sensed like avowing slaying. The charge failed, alert never told. An hour. Ethan's pitch ascended. You overbaked our Thanksgiving turkey by full hour. Marcus advanced, pragmatic eternally. Let's fling more casements ajar. Purge haze forth. He beelined dining chamber casements, Lydia trailing to aid. Beatrice neared my flank, her aged palm grazing my limb tenderly. Mishaps occur. Reginald, blame not self overly stern, but Amelia appeared ravaged, fixating ruined turkey as emblem vast beyond repast. Visitors land in 15 minutes. What shall we enact? I'll motor to grocer now, I tendered frantically. Perchance they proffer pre-cooked, or on Thanksgiving midday. Ethan chortled sourly. All shuttered hours passed, not ajar till morrow. Truth draped us like persistent haze. No turkey signified no ritual repast. No ritual repast signified spoiled fest for 28 kin awaiting this convergence fortnights. We might summon flatbreads, Lydia proffered faintly from dining. Flatbreads. Ethan echoed term like malediction for Thanksgiving with Beatrice and Marcus and kin arriving. Flatbreads. Amelia slumped to kitchen stool, crown in palms. I ought lingered. I ought inspected ere departing. Nay, I neared her, frantic to claim fault. This rests wholly mine. I vowed to oversee turkey and faltered. Device demise excuses naught. I ought programmed reserve chronometer, ought stayed vigilant. Beatrice unlatched further casements while Marcus re-entered from dining. Haze lessens somewhat, he noted. Abode airs anon aids not this eve, Ethan grumbled, fixating ebony fowl with revulsion. Kitchen stilled, save fresh zephyr flux via ajar casements. All seemed digesting debacle scope. Not solely wrecked turkey, but spoiled fest, crestfallen kin, fractured right. Amelia lifted gaze to me, orbs luminous with unspilled brine. Dad, I ken you intended no harm, yet harm befell. Ethan voiced subdued. His timbre bore perilous brink. Restrained wrath scarcely leashed, as I'd foreseen it would. Ethan's countenance transmuted pre my orbs. Courteous chagrin dissolved, supplanted by darker, primal force, his mandible clamped firm. Palms knotted to hammers at flanks. You futile elder. Terms detonated like volley. You achieve naught aptly. Beatrice recoiled. Palm to bosom. Lydia clutched Marcus's limb. Even Amelia rigidified, stunned by toxin in spouse's timbre. Ethan, I beseech, she commenced. Nay. He pivoted to face her. Then rear to me. I'm weary of this. Amelia, weary feigning your sire blessing when he's mere encumbrance. Kitchen hushed, save casement flux admitting chill. November zephyr that cleared not venomous ether brewing twixt us. Futile. He neared, timbre descending to baleful rumble. Pitiful, untrustworthy with basest chore. I stood wholly still, observing this gent unveil fully. Annals of guarded civility, of scarcely veiled spite, at last erupting pre-attesters. Portion of me sensed nigh relieved. Pretense concluded at last. Sufficient, Beatrice voiced resolutely, her timbre bearing age and kin-station authority. Ethan, you exceed bounds. But Ethan transcended rationale. He snatched wrecked turkey from counterperch, countenance warping with loathing and ire. This we reap. He elevated ebony fowl or pate. This befalls when we entrust him aught vital. Dare not. I initiated, yet tardy. He catapulted turkey squarely at me. I veered flankwise. Charred fowl soaring past scapula to detonate 'gainst kitchen barrier rear me. Singed fillings strewn o'er tiles. Oil-flecked cupboards. Impact-etched dark blemish on pale veneer. Ethan Amelia shrieked. What's amiss you? Marcus advanced, mien shadowed with censure. Sufficient, lad. Time soothe. Soothe, Ethan chortled sourly. This Thanksgiving, Paramount Kin Day annually, and he demolished it. He jabbed at me like felon, like he demolishes all he contacts. Lydia veiled lips with dual palms, fixating turkey debris on barrier. Beatrice advanced guardedly toward me, her aged mien etched with fret and revulsion at Ethan's deportment. I can motor forthwith, I voiced subdued, upholding scant dignity as turkey oil dripped barrierward. Perchance unearth surrogate turkey someplace, or with what Ethan's pitch climbed, all shuddered, nowhere ventures. 28 souls arrive anticipating repast, and you've wholly spoiled it. He pressed on me, herding toward kitchen portal. His visage purplish now, veins bulging on brow. Spume sprayed as he roared. I'm done feigning gratitude, done enacting like your aid when solely you spawn woes. You prove untrustworthy for aught. They're surfaced, charge slicing deepest, unveiling all I'd surmised of his sentiments. All annals fiscal aid, all spans he'd termed me dependable, steadfast, his redeemer, falsehoods, all depart. He roared now, volume for neighbors kenning. This my abode, my kin, I crave not your pitiful aid longer. The parlor summoned rear me, more expanse, yet formal, kin abode nucleus, where lineage portraits lined ledge, where Yule morns transpired, where grands played, now it morphed battlefield. Ethan, halt this, Amelia implored. Clutching his limb, he flung her off coarsely. If you linger not now, he snarled. Nearing so nigh I scented brew on exhalation. I'll compel departure. I retreated to parlor. Ethan pursuing like hunter, stalking maimed quarry. Kin trailed loathly, Amelia twisting palms, Beatrice gripping Lydia's limb, Marcus stationing midway twixt us. This my abode, Ethan bellowed, gesturing wildly at lineage frames on ledge. Plush fixtures, ritual Thanksgiving trims, my kin. I desire not behold your pitiful phiz here more. Parlor sensed altered now, tainted. This realm, where offspring unpacked Yule gifts, where natal fetes celebrated, where kin convened countless glad spans, now attested foul irreversible. Easy there, Ethan, Marcus interposed squarely twixt us, palms elevated pacific yet firm. This Amelia's sire we discourse, your offspring's grandsire. Grandsire, Ethan chortled sourly. What grandsire spoils own kinfest? What gent slumbers when souls depend? Beatrice unearthed timber keen with ethic scorn. Ethan Caldwell, you deport like juvenile in peak, this not spouse Amelia wed. Oh, crave ken whom she wed. Ethan's orbs gleamed perilously. She wed one weary cleansing post this elder's heirs. Yule prior year, he overlooked fetching ham. Pash, dessert he vowed ne'er surfaced. My natal fate. Cease it, Amelia murmured. Brine commencing in orbs. Just cease. But Ethan amassed impetus. Annal's grievances gushing like tainted sores lanced final. He jabbed at me accusatory. Digit prodding perilously nigh my phiz. Every instance we entrust him aught calamity, and I'm to feign gratitude. Suppose it an act he's aiding when solely worsening all. I bided mute, observing him bear fully. Every term unveiled more his essence than mine. Attestors spied, too. Marcus's mien darkening, Beatrice oscillating pate mournfully, Lydia appearing truly alarmed. Aught requires schooling him consequences attend deeds. Ethan neared, breaching my realm. Perchance I demonstrate futile truly signifies. Elder. Sufficient. Marcus interposed wholly, broad shoulders barring Ethan's advance. You discourse corporeal with 69-year gent pre-spouse on Thanksgiving. Ethan's phiz warped with thwarted ire. Shift aside, Marcus. This concerns not you. It concerns all presently, Beatrice voiced icily. For you've rendered it so. This kin affair, and kin mistreats not kin thus. Kin Ethan's timbre fractured. What hath he wrought this kin save spawn woes he's encumbrance? Peril. We'd fare better sans him. Amelia's timbre lashed his tirade like scourge. Enough. You discourse, my sire. He pivoted to confront her. Orbs feral with ire and fret. Your sire who solely spoiled Thanksgiving. Your sire untrustworthy with basest duty. When perceive you him truly chamber stilled, save Amelia's subdued sniffling. This transcended, scorched turkey now. This respect, kin ties, bedrock tenets shattering pre-all. Truly what? I voiced subdued. My timbre cleaving strain, all pivoted to behold me. I straightened to full stature, locking Ethan's ireful gaze squarely. Crave discourse truly someone. Ethan, a my timbre bore novel brink, steel tempered via annals quelled ire. Let's discourse dependability. Let's discourse who truly counts. Chamber went wholly mute. Even Ethan halted tirade. Sensing ether shift, I advanced. No longer apologetic elder who'd scorched turkey. Annal's forbearance attained terminus. You term me untrustworthy. My timbre bore novel sway. Naught counts on me. Then elucidate. Ethan. Marcus yielded flank slightly. Kenning confrontation transcended corporeal peril to profounder. Beatrice and Lydia leaned forth, sensing pivotal lore imminent unveil. If I'm so untrustworthy, I pursued, locking orbs squarely. Why counted you on me? Oft Ethan's phiz flickered initial uncertainty glint. What discourse you December 2020? My timbre strengthened. 18,000 for this abode deposit. You hide my condo frantic. Lenders spurned. You wept. Ethan, veritable brine. Amelia's pate snapped aloft. Orbs widening. She'd kent some aid, yet not particulars. You swore reimburse soon promotion. You termed me preserving your kin tomorrow. Recall that parley pallor commenced draining Ethan's fizz. That's distinct. Distinct how I urged. April 2022, 10,000 for Oliver's academy fees. You summoned from bursars. Panicking grant dissolved. I drew pension funds. Ethan, my pension. Lydia inhaled softly. Beatrice's orbs narrowed as panorama clarified. You vowed reimburse with yield. I pursued unrelentingly. Termed me kindest soul you kenned. Liest thou then, or liest now, cease, Ethan murmured. Yet I neared finale scant, September 2023. 4,000 when gearbox perished. I sped direct to repair bay and settled bills while you tarried. You termed me invariably delivering. You termed undeserving father-in-law like me. Amelia stood rigid, fragments aligning in psyche. Marcus and Lydia swapped eloquent glances, fiscal motif evident. Prior winter, I voiced, timbre softening yet potent. 15,000 for health tallies coverage shunned. I convened you at clinic accounts while Amelia mended aloft. You wept anew. Ethan swore on offspring heads reimburse. Parlor utterly muted now, all fixating Ethan, whose pugnacious stance crumpled to diminutive, cornered. Proceed, I queried. The 250 for provisions wage lagged. 600 for warmth tallies. 400 when laundry unit failed. All those trifles vowed till next wage. Beatrice's fizz displayed full ken now. Marcus oscillated pate slow. Censure-etched features. 42,000. Ethan. Figure dangled ether like charge across 6 years. Every crisis you craved aid. Every frenzy. Whom summoned. Who dependable then, Ethan parted lips. Yet no terms emerged. How much reimbursed, I queried. Not 1 cent. How oft voiced thanks. I bide yet. I neared him now. Sway inverted fully. So recount dependability. Ethan, recount who counts not. For whence I stand. Seems you've counted this futile elder redeeming you repeatedly. Truth draped chamber like weighty pall. Amelia fixated spouse with novel orbs. Attestors eyed Ethan with overt judgment. And now, I voiced softly, now crave hurl me from your abode. Abode I aided purchase stillness stretched pulses. Ethan's fizz cycled sentiments. Shock, denial, ire, then somberer, desperation. Palms quaked at flanks. Exhalation curt gasps. Deem you triumphed. Timbre fractured. Deem humiliate me and own abode. Ethan, I beseech. Amelia stretched toward him. Yet he recoiled fiercely. Nay, I'll unveil futile who. He lunged at me with startling velocity for his bulk. I retreated swift, palms elevating defensive. Yet impetus bore him forth. Fist arced toward my fizz, erring inches as I veered flankwise. Halt plus! Amelia shrieked. Beatrice inhaled, pressing 'gainst barrier. Lydia clutched Marcus's limb as he advanced. Primed intervene. Ethan staggered past me, pivoting with feral orbs. Brawl me, elder. See dependability when counts. I brawl not you. I voiced serene, persisting retreat. You're vexed. We parley this. Parley. He arced anew, this grazing my scapula with buffet sending me stumbling to dining. Done parleying. Done feigning you import. Low stand snagged my limbs. I toppled harshly. Ethan towering o'er with elevated hammers. Marcus hasted forth, seizing Ethan's limbs rearward. Sufficient. Marcus's timbre thundered sway. You forfeited Psyche. Ethan wrestled 'gainst brother's clasp, elbowing rearward, striving rupture. Release me. He demolished my existence. Demolished all. Retreat. Beatrice herded Lydia toward foreportal. He's wholly forfeited sway. I rolled from low stand, regaining feet warily. Scapula throbbed where Ethan's hammer linked, yet naught fractured sensed. Encircling, parlor transmuted to tumult, toppled periodicals, lamp felled askew, plush kin realm now felony site. You spoiled my union, Ethan roared, yet battling Marcus's restraint. Turned spouse 'gainst me, rendered me fool. Thou enacted self. I voiced subdued, retreating kitchenward. He ruptured Marcus's clasp with desperate vigor surge, charging after anew. Slay you. Hearken, slay you for this. Kitchen loomed rear me, blade cluster on range, perilous ground. Ethan's orbs fixed same quarry, fizz warped with slayer ire. Ethan, offspring dwell this district, Amelia implored. Brine streaming fizz. What's amiss you? Marcus seized him anew. This firmer clasp. Brother or nay, I'll not permit harm innocent gent. I attained range. Palm unearthing device left hours past. Pain displayed charge for needful. This transcended kin strife to veritable ferocity. He's not innocent. Ethan writhed 'gainst Marcus's clasp. He's manipulator, exploiter. He schemed whole, schemed scorching turkey, Lydia queried from portal. Schemed you forfeiting temper, hearken self. My digits unearthed 911 on pad. 3 plain numerals summoning formal aid. Formal reckonings. Nightmare terminus. What enact you? Ethan's orbs fixed my device with panic. Lower that. 911 crisis. Operator's timbre rang clear. What's crisis require law at 1423 Elm Avenue? I voiced serene, despite tumult encircling. Kin ferocity. Son-in-law assaults me. Attestors present. Nay, Ethan's wail echoed house. 5 minutes sensed eternities. Marcus pinned Ethan 'gainst kitchen range while I bided online with relay. Amelia paced parlor, twisting palms. Beatrice and Lydia clustered nigh fore casement, watching for patrol autos. I spy them nearing, Lydia proclaimed. Scarlet and cerulean gleams flashed o'er house. Tinting fest trims official hues. Auto portals thudded. Heavy footfalls neared foreportal. Law sector. Unbar. Beatrice unlatched swift. Dual wardens entered. Tall dame with silver tresses and younger male framed like gridiron. Orbs scanned scene professionally. Toppled fixtures. Alarmed kin. Evident strife signs. I'm Warden Hargrove, dame voiced. Who summoned 911 I elevated palm. Reginald Hawthorne. That son-in-law yonder. He corporeal assaulted me post-kin altercation. Any harmed Warden Hargrove neared me, noting rent blouse and scarlet blemish on scapula. Minor contusion. Naught medical needful. Male warden neared Marcus and Ethan. Sir, require step from him. Marcus yielded clasp loathly. Warden. This gent assaulted his aged sire-in-law. I restrained to avert grave harm. Ethan aligned garb, striving regain poise. This all misconstrual. Kin discord o'erreached. Assault bid misconstrual not. Hargrove voiced firm. She pivoted to me. Recount precisely transpired. I discoursed serene, methodical. We quarreled o'er wrecked turkey repast. I unveiled son-in-law owes me beyond 42,000 in unreimbursed loans. He enraged and corporeal assaulted, vowing slay me. These kin attested all, Hargrove inscribed while scanning chamber. How many attestors? 4. Marcus advanced. I'm Marcus Caldwell, his brother. I beheld Ethan hurl fair, then lunge at Reginald with harm intent. Beatrice unearthed timbre. I'm Beatrice Hawthorne, Reginald's sibling. I spied full incident. Ethan wholly forfeited sway. Lydia inclined accord. Lydia Hargrove, ferocity commenced post. Reginald mentioned funds Ethan borrowed unreimbursed. Second warden neared Amelia, who stood rent twixt fealty and verity. Madam, you attested this. She eyed spouse, then sire, brine flowing unbound. Yea, spouse assaulted sire, vowed harm, ne'er spied him thus ere. Ethan's fizz crumpled as spouse's attestation sealed doom. Amelia, misconstrue not. Taughter, I construe perfectly, she voiced, subdued. Sire supported our kin annals, and you repaid grace with ferocity. Warden Hargrove addressed chamber. Require parley each attester apart. But foremost, she pivoted to Ethan. Sir, per manifold attester statements, I cite you for kin assault. Absurdity, Ethan protested. He incited me, shamed me pre-kin. Sentiment incitement justifies not corporeal ferocity. Hargrove rejoined firm. She drew citation tome. Right contest in tribunal, yet proof and attester, verity clear. Younger warden imaged toppled fixtures. My rent blouse, strife-proof throughout parlor and kitchen. What befalls now? Amelia queried subdued. Spouse receives formal citation. If enacts further ferocity or Harry against Mr. Hawthorne, faces seizure and tribunal charges. Incident now official ledger. I observed Ethan's fizz as truth settled. Formal reckonings, legal script, no longer kin affair, but felonious deportment on enduring ledger. Hargrove tendered me card. Mr. Hawthorne, right pursue restraint decree if unsafe sensed. Given age gap and ferocity vows, tribunal likely sanction safeguard. That unneedful, I voiced, locking Ethan's orbs. Long as this deportment recurs not, warden finalized script while kin digested transpired. Formal intercession. Verity scripted. Equity via proper conduits. We're concluded. Hargrove proclaimed. Mr. Caldwell. Future incidents yield instant seizure. Citation mandates tribunal within 30 days. As wardens prepped depart, Ethan stood isolated in own kitchen, confronting reckonings of 6 annals ingratitude. Climaxing ferocity. Patrol autos withdrew, vacating kin in stunned hush. Ethan bided solitary by kitchen range. Citation clutched in quaking palm. Formal script signified more legal reckonings. It etched utter downfall of victim saga. Dad. Amelia neared warily, timbre dense with sentiment. Ne'er fathomed your forfeitures for us. 42,000. And I scarce kenned. Beatrice laid aged palm on my limb. Reginald, you governed full plight with such poise. Feebler gent pressed full charges. Marcus inclined approving. Better gent than I'd in your stead. Granting clemency post torment endured. Lydia dabbed brine from orbs. Manner you bided serene amid assault. That evinces true essence. I surveyed chamber at toppled fixtures. Leavings of wrecked thanksgiving. Kin who now grasped full verity. Despite all, we endured united. What imports keeps kin whole, I voiced plainly. Ethan erred, yet demolishing him solves naught. Ethan unearthed timbre scant above murmur. I scarce can reimburse you. Funds, yea, but also, he gestured helpless at tumult encircling. This, my deeds, commence acknowledging verity, I replied, and assure this ferocity recurs never. Amelia advanced to flank me. Choice evident. Dad, profoundly remorseful. Aught spied unfolding. Aught recognized your gifts. You harbor own kin fret, I assured her. Thus befits. Marcus scanned disarrayed parlor. Well, yet Thanksgiving repast to contrive. Can't permit one gent's peak spoil full fest. Beatrice grinned foremost in hours. I ken eatery delivering ritual spreads. Costly, yet merited under circumstance. I'll fund it. Ethan voiced swift. Then checked self. Mean, if credit suffices since cash absent actual. Irony eluded none. Lydia verily chortled, at least honest presently. Within hour, house aligned, fixtures reordered, and relay drivers bore full Thanksgiving banquet. Turkey, filling, berry relish, all ritual viands aught graced board hours past. As we convened round dining board, kin appeared altered than morn. Ties shifted, verity unveiled, reckonings confronted. Yet we endured kin. Crave voice aught, Amelia proclaimed, elevating aqua glass. Today I learned sire not merely dependable, he's singular. Generosity, forbearance, poise under duress. Dad, thanks for all forfeitures for us. To Reginald, Beatrice appended, elevating glass. Kindest soul any ken. Marcus joined toast, to wholeness and kin. Even Ethan elevated glass, though timbre fractured as voiced. To the second mercies, and gent granting more than merited. As we commenced devouring eatery prepped repast, I sensed gratification profounder any turkey I'd baked might furnish, not for triumphing skirmish, but verity prevailed, equity served, not via vengeance, but reckonings, and ken. Borrowed Thanksgiving banquet savored ideal. Round board sat kin grasping true import of thanks, forfeiture and dependability. Sometimes paramount triumphs not those defeating foes, but those upholding essence while verity unveils self. I endured gent who'd scorched turkey, but also gent knit kin via plight, upheld poise under onslaught, chose clemency when equity in grasp. That sensed most dependable deed ere enacted. What a journey this Thanksgiving turned into, from charred ruins to a feast of raw truth and fragile bonds. Reginald's quiet strength reminds us that true family isn't built on perfection, but on forgiveness that echoes louder than any shout. If this story stirred something in you, share your deepest impressions in the comments below. What would you have said in that smoky kitchen? Drop your questions here. Let's exchange thoughts and keep the conversation alive. Engage with the channel. Your voice matters in these tales we weave together. For the next gripping story, just click the box on the left. Thank you, from the heart, for joining me tonight.